Jose Kwanjo-Weller begins visit to Nigeria. Dollar loans pose currency risk. BDC operators declare war against speculators. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Musa Abubakar. Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, this Monday began a series of meetings with key officials at a three-day working visit to Nigeria. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Adeni Adebayo, who is the first to receive her, sought the support of the WTO in repositioning Nigeria in the global trade space.
We want to encourage them to look at the possibilities in technology and e-commerce. E-commerce technology provides a very good platform on which they can do so many things. You know, financial services, for instance, as I mentioned, fintech services. They can do sell products, goods and services on the internet. So that's one of the areas the WTO is actually trying to make rules. We have an e-commerce negotiations going on.
We acknowledge with thanks the capacity building efforts of the WTO around training of officers on international trade governance. The need for more targeted technical assistance from the WTO cannot be overemphasized. Madam DG, we will be writing to you to give specific details of areas where assistance is most required in this regard.
Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, says dollar loans remain, though the bond market come with heavy implications for emerging markets like Nigeria, including putting the local currency at risk. IMF Director of Monetary and Capital Markets Department, Tobias Adrian, who made this known in a report released at the weekend, said borrowing in foreign currencies in international bond markets can leave these countries exposed to volatile exchange rate movements. Nigeria is adjudged to have missed the boat this time last year when it was slow to come to the market with a Eurobond issue. In the first month of last year, Ghana and Gabon issued a total of $3 billion in Eurobonds between them before Nigeria could get to the market. Nigeria has been absent from the new issue market for more than 2 years. The Central Bank of Nigeria licensed Bureau de Change operators have declared operational war against foreign exchange speculators and black market dealers whose activities are said to distort the foreign exchange market. This is coming as the dollar broke the 480 naira per dollar resistance level, edging towards 419 naira per dollar at the weekend. The dollar was selling at about 485 naira per dollar in Lagos and Abuja. The investors and exporters window closed the last trading day of the previous week at 410 naira per dollar as against 409 naira, 13 kobo per dollar. It opened with, gaining an appreciation of 0.24%. The 410 naira per dollar becomes the upper resistance band since the beginning of the year. Speaking during a virtual meeting with members of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria across the country, the association president, Dr. Aminu Gwadebe, said the BDCs will not allow FX speculators and street hawkers to take over their business through anti-market practices. He restated commitment of licensed BDCs to defending the naira through regulatory compliance aimed at achieving a stable exchange rate and attract forex into the economy. That the US dollar held firm on Monday after bouncing off 1 week low last week, supported by a spike in benchmark Treasury yields to more than 1 year high as inflation fears continue to smolder. Nigeria's tech startups have shown great strength in innovative technology amid the COVID-19 pandemic as they became increasingly instrumental as the most business shifted their processes online. I have with me a promoter of Nigeria's tech startups all the way from the US. She is the founder and president Silicon Valley Nigeria Economic Development, Temitope Ajayi, also known as Mama Diaspora. You are welcome to Business Express. Okay, why the Silicon Valley in Nigeria?
Yes, it's Silicon Valley. The company is like a bridge between two economies. I'm very fortunate, DNA Nigeria, to be one of the CEOs, or now the chairman, because my daughter took over. Okay. The marriage between Silicon Valley and Nigeria, especially California, is really going to revamp the economy of this nation. I've been very persistent, and I don't give up. I've invited the vice president twice to Silicon Valley. So our job is to bridge the gap between two major economies. Like what you just said right now, I was the happiest woman on the face of the earth for my mentor. Madame Gozewala, the Dr. Goze, said the world that the latest thing is information technology with e-commerce and entrepreneur. So all we do is to put them in an incubator, empower them in information technology, blockchain, IoT, and so on. So what we do right now, we decided to use e-commerce as an incubator because a lot of the Nigerian young adults and women littered all over the place. You can't imagine.
Okay, we know what the Silicon Valley means to the US. Is that what you want it to mean for Nigeria?
Oh yeah, I live there. You see, I live there every day. My wish is, can Nigeria be like Silicon Valley? Yes, because number one, our millennium, the intellectual property is on the high side. All they need is a mentorship. You know, young adults can be young adults, but you have to be strict with them to gear them towards the right direction. Bingo. They're very good. You see them on their phone.
So how do we gear them towards the right direction?
Okay. I'm a mama. Trust me. I call them. You see, I will say the pandemic, COVID-19, was a blessing. I will say it because it has changed the economy of the whole world. Where e-commerce is number one. Everybody buys things online, marketplace. So after I've been here, after being exiled for 30 years, for the first time I was in Nigeria for almost a year and 2 months. I felt the young adult, and I call them. Especially after the Lekki NSAS saga. I said, what's your problem? Because I didn't know my last born was one of them. I said, what? I said, what's your problem? They told me, I said, okay, I know there's something I'm going to do for you. If I give you 20,000, that's just $50. $50 doesn't mean anything to me or to anybody in America. If I give you $20, because in America we call something ecosystem, we help them grow up. America is like a community, especially California, Silicon Valley. We don't depend on the government at all. We don't talk politics. We talk business.
Okay, what about the Silicon Valley in Nigeria? How does it?
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to bring. Now I brought it because we have a success story now. For the first time in history, Silicon Valley is alive in Nigeria, because everything I've learned or everything I've seen, I decided to utilize it for the Nigerian young adult. 350 of them. What's your problem? They say money. Okay, I'll give you the money. You know, when you want to catch young adult, I say, I'll give you 20,000 naira. When you return my 20,000, I increase it to 40. When you return my 40, I increase it to 80. And when you return my 80, I increase it to 160. In their brain is that bump. So I developed their credit system. They return the money. They did. I make sure, say, you want to be a businessman, you have to have a bank account. I have to give credit to Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank opened bank account to almost 400 of them. And you see, every week they return to 2,000. No interest. Because I told them it's only the Almighty God that can give me interest. So now, you can say Silicon Valley is alive. Credit system, e-commerce, and angel investors. In America, we help each other. So some of them, I have to give credit to the diaspora, my children. They donated some money to support me, to give these kids the loan. Can you believe it? Sometimes, initially I was crying, but now anytime I go to bed, I'm always smiling.
Okay. Nigeria is working hard to explore the opportunities in the digital economy.
Yeah.
Any collaboration with you and government?
You know, I pray one day it will happen. But you know, like what my late father told me, your future is in your hand. I've invited the vice president twice. I brought so many investors to this country. Maybe, is this not Jesus Christ, the son of Joseph the carpenter? You know, maybe after this one, with this my success story, I'm ready to share this success story with them. Because now, not only my kids are very comfortable, the 300 of them, they have their bank account. You see them now with their cell phone. You know what they say? Transfer my money. Okay. Cashless. They do transfer. If you buy something, they say, can you do transfer? You see, I will give the credit to the Almighty God, because when I was doing it, people were trying to discourage me. I really pumped some money as an individual.
Okay, what about private partnership?
You know, private partnership, now, I was very happy when Forbes, you know, Forbes magazine, wrote about my company. You see, Nigerians, I don't think they know the potentials of the diasporans. Forbes magazine wrote about what I'm doing in their magazine because they saw what we are pumping online. Private partnership with the government. I've had meeting with the Minister of Trade and Industry.
What I'm saying is, what about the private sector?
The private sector, you know, I feel the private sector. But you see, what I was trying to tell them is cottage industry. You don't have to have a factory. Everything is being done in my compound in Lekki. And you can't imagine how much we are generating every week. It's very, very impressive.
Like how much are we talking about?
Oh, over 1 million sales in 3 months.
Wow. Okay, the digital economy is the way to go, especially as Nigeria looks to recover quickly from the effects of COVID-19 on the economy. What are the benefits we stand to gain from the Silicon Valley initiative?
You know, thank you for asking me that question. You see, Silicon Valley, let me just start with the GDP of California. If Nigerian government, I think this is an opportunity for them to give them a tax break. Any private sector that is employing these our young adults should be given a tax break. You can't imagine what it will do to this economy. Like the hotel, the what they call these people, the travel, tourism, you understand? So many economy has been hit badly with this pandemic. They should give them a tax break. With that one, is win-win situation for everybody. And if on one condition that they employ those young adults, it will take the burden away from the government. That is how American government is using the private sector to revamp the economy. Because I see the weight on the government is too much in Nigeria. So with this pandemic, I think the best thing for them is to give them a tax break. And like I told all those people that are supporting my program, I said I will lobby the government to give them a tax break.
Now, how about young startups? How far so far?
Oh my God, my own startups, they have a bank account now. They are into e-commerce. You know, I told them, use your social media to cash out. Do you know the meaning? Instead of you, something that is on your business, you buy credit, you sit down on the social media, advertise your product on the social media. Can you imagine one of them will say, I sell eggs. I'm ready to deliver the eggs to your doorstep. You understand? Because what I did, I decided to create a business academy for them. And you see, Nigerians, we started with 2 fish. Can you imagine? Because one of them came when I was giving out this interest-free loan. He said, I have masters and I'm smoking fish. I said, you kidding me? Masters smoking fish? How do you break through? He said, I buy the fish. And it's okay. I packed like 10 of them together.
Okay.
Invest on them. Serious investment. In my compound, I monitor them. Trust me, young adult and young adult. You can't just leave them on the loose. They will go and use your money to go and buy cell phone.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think that's the much we can actually take.
Oh, yes,
thank you very much,
yes.
Temitope Ajayi, President, Silicon Valley, Nigeria.
Thank you.
Okay. The federal government has been urged to focus on raising bonds from the capital market to finance revenue-generating projects and reduce balance sheet borrowing. These are part of the resolutions reached at the Securities and Exchange Commission SEC yearly budget seminar with the theme Financing Nigeria's Budget and Infrastructure Deficit Through the Capital Market held recently. The operators pointed out that government remains an enabler to creating the conducive environment for policies, security and good leadership that will ultimately support business growth and development. They therefore urge the federal government to prioritize funding of sectors such as security, education and health while creating an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive, thereby attracting retaining investors in her remarks. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed said the capital market has been supportive in providing the necessary funds needed to finance long-term projects, while the Director General of the SEC, Lamido Yuguda, said the 2021 budget proposes a deficit of 5.6 trillion naira and 42% of this will be financed using domestic sources. According to him, it is expected that the capital market will be leveraged to generate the needed funds and boost infrastructure development in the country. The oil prices rose on Monday with Brent heading towards $70 a barrel as data showed China's economic recovery accelerated at the start of 2021, boosting the energy demand outlook at the world's largest oil importer. Brent crude futures for May gained 47 cents to $69.69 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude for April was at $66.10 a barrel, up 49 cents. Data shows that China's industrial output growth quickened in January and to February, beating expectations, while its daily refinery throughput data rose 15% from the same period a year ago. Gold prices raised early gains on Monday as hopes of faster economic recovery got a boost from better than expected Chinese industrial output data, while a surge in U.S. Treasury yields kept bullion under pressure. Well, the NSE All Share Index dropped by 0.22% to end today's trading at 38,561.84 basis points. Total of 184.5 million shares valued at 2.5 billion naira exchange hands in 3,527. Market capitalization stands at 20.1 trillion. And the top trades are the FBN Holding, Notoro, and Fidelity Bank. Asia Pacific lost momentum on Monday as major indices pared some of their gains while others struggled to advance. Ineka Oko has details.
Asia Pacific lost momentum on Monday as major indices pared some of their gains while others struggled to advance. The Nikkei 225 notched up a 0.17% gain at 29,766.97, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index rose 0.33% in late afternoon trade. Chinese mainland stocks, on the other hand, struggled for gains as the Shanghai Composite fell 0.96%. European markets started the week on a positive note ahead of this week's Federal Reserve meeting stateside. Germany DAX climbed 0.31%, while London FTSE and CAC 40 of France rose 0.42% to lead gains as all sectors entered positive territory. U.S. stocks traded slightly higher in early trading Monday. The Dow implied an opening gain of more than 100 points, with the S&P 500 rising 1.10% and the Nasdaq 100 depreciating 0.59%. Meanwhile, African markets wavered as Tunisia Tunidex finished up 0.21% at 6,844.36 and Namibia overall index 0.01%. South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40 and Nairobi All Shares slipped 0.60% and 0.47%, while Ghana GSE Composite closed flat. Neka Oko, Business Express.
Thank you, Neka. With that, we come to the end of Business Express for today. Remember to keep in touch with us by sending in your comments, observations, and suggestions. Also, be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA News channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter, and the handle is NTA News Now. And the hashtag is BizX. Tomorrow is another day. Join us at 9:30 a.m. Be safe out there.